So welcome everyone to day 19 of this 30 days of guitar licks, and today we're going to do this lick in pattern 4 of F minor pentatonic. So this one's going to be starting on the 3rd string, and it's a really feeling lick. So there's going to be some movements in there. You got to kind of get the feel for it. Also, feel free to always change it based on your feeling, right? The way you play it, adding your own feeling to it. Okay. Remember, you can always break these up. You don't have to play them exactly as they are, but it's just to give you an idea how to use the pentatonic scale, right? How to use the techniques and the bends and all of that, so to change it up and be able to actually jam and solo over backing tracks, all right? So let's get right into it. The 4th position of F, so we're going to start with the 1st finger on the 8th fret of the 3rd string, and you're going to hammer on from the 8th fret to the 10th fret of the 3rd string. So let me get some clean on for you here. That's better. So you're going to hammer on 8 to 10 on the 3rd string. And then you're going to put your 2nd finger on the 9th fret of the 2nd string. Now this one, I kind of do like a little up and down bend. You could do like a feeling bend. That sounds nice. So I go like this. I kind of like vibrato it really hard because it sounds pretty cool when you do that. So like that a little bit. So you can also do just like this, a little. It doesn't have to be a big bend, or you could just not bend it at all. So like that. Okay. Either way is fine. So, but the way I do it is I do a strong vibrato. I shake my finger up and down. So like that, so it gives it a little feeling. And you're going to hammer on 8 to 10 on the 3rd string, 2nd finger on the 9th fret, 2nd string, and then bring your 3rd finger back on the 10th fret on the 3rd string and pick that. So like that. Then you're going to shift position, so you're going to bring your hand down to the 2nd string. You're going to put your 1st finger on the 9th fret on the 2nd string, and you're not going to play that one yet, but you're going to keep your finger there prepared for the next note. So put your 3rd finger on the 11th fret on the 2nd string, and your pinky on the 11th fret on the 1st string. So this is a cool technique that's used a lot in a lot of songs by a lot of people. It's an awesome sounding thing to do. But it also might be a little difficult at first because you're using your pinky and you're bending while you're holding another note, right? While you're holding 2 strings. So you're going to pick the 3rd finger on the 11th fret of the 2nd string and bend it up. So, okay? So if you let them ring out together with distortion on it, it sounds pretty awesome. Like. And that's the way I do it twice. So it's kind of like you gradually come up to it. You're not just like going right up to it like, not like that. So it's like, there's some feeling in it, right? So it goes like this so far. Okay? So you keep that, the second time you put that 3rd finger up, you bend the 11th fret, you keep it up there, and you hear that bend come back down, so like this. And my finger stays up, see? And I pick it and come back down, you hear it, so. Okay, so. Like that. Like that. And then you bring the 1st finger is still on the 9th fret of the 2nd string, right? So you hammer on from the 9th fret to the 11th fret on the 2nd string, and then you take your 3rd finger back off and pick the 9th fret. And again, you can do a feeling bend there if you want. So I do a little bend. So like the whole thing like this. Okay, so far. Okay. Then you bring your 2nd finger to the 10th fret of the 3rd string. Whole thing like this. And then to finish it, you bring your 1st finger on the 8th fret of the 3rd string. You hammer on to the 10th fret, like this. So from the bend, I'll show you. And to finish it, it's 2 more notes. We're going to slide up. It's going to be the same note as this, the 9th fret on the 2nd string that we played already. But it sounds different when you slide up to it, and especially on a thicker string. So you slide from the 10th fret to the 13th fret on the 3rd string, and then put your first finger back on the fret of the 3rd string and pick it. Like that. So. Alright? So the whole thing goes like this. Alright? So that's the whole run. I'll play it a little faster for you, but just remember when you have these longer runs that are because I remember when I was learning like solos and stuff at first, when you have these longer runs, you kind of have to learn them in parts and then put them together, and it has to be kind of like you don't think of it. So you have to learn it first and embody it, get your hands to memorize it, and then you kind of just let it happen. So you can't, if you try to think about it very specifically all the time, that's why it's important to play it very slowly first in parts and then blend them together into one slow movement, and then gradually pick up speed. Because then your hands just flow through it. If something like this, that's more like it kind of feels and flows right into the next part, it's kind of hard to try to remember and think about that. It will sound broken up. So for it to sound fluid, you have to practice it slowly. So you can use a metronome if you want, but make the timing real slow, and then can pick up speed slowly. So like this. And you can do it even slower than that. It doesn't matter how slow you start, as long as it's smooth. So. All right, and then gradually you pick up speed and it gets smoother, like. So if you have any questions about this, anything was unclear, let me know. If you have any questions about any of the licks we did so far, anything came up while you were practicing and going through them, let me know. Now, some of these licks can be a little bit more like intermediate, I would say, of course. Like, they're not exactly beginner, but to be honest with you, a lot of stuff that I found for beginners seems too simple, where it's just like going like this. So. And I wouldn't exactly consider that a lick, you know? That's more like just how to use a slide or something. So I wanted to give you something that's useful, and because you can't really use that if you're trying to jam and learn to solo, you can't just be like, it's like too small of a part, right? So these will give you a little bit longer of a solo portion to use for your jamming. So that be patient with it, take your time and integrate it slowly. But it'll give you a little bit more so that you can actually jam and use it in your jamming. Like, in other words, you can take a backing track in the key put this in the key of whatever key you're playing in, whatever your backing track is, and then play the run whatever the pace of the backing track is. So you can just play the backing track, wait, and time it, and play it in that, right? You can slow the backing track down, you can speed it up, you can find ones that are quicker, slower, right? And try integrating it like that. Right? Get the feeling for it, how it fits in the music, because that's also another skill like you have to learn, right? If you're just starting playing, you have to learn timing, right? Especially if you're not a drummer, you don't have some background in percussion, the timing is really important to get, especially when you're playing with other people, because it might not always be consistent, might not always be exact, you know, to what the actual timing is. And also, even when you're jamming to a track, like, the timing is very important. That makes all the difference in how it sounds, whether you're going a little faster, a little slower, you're holding off on a note, or any of that stuff. That gives it some feeling, right? So I'll see you tomorrow for the next lick, and until then, take care.